Aware. 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 Hello. Let's talk about the word aware. As a verb, to be aware means to have knowledge or understanding of something, often because it has been brought to your attention. For example, I was aware of the traffic jam on my way to work this morning. In this sense, being aware is not just knowing something exists, but also that you are actively thinking about it. As a noun, awareness can refer to the state of having knowledge or understanding of something. Like, the awareness of the environmental issue has grown over the past few years. Common usage includes acknowledging or recognizing something, such as, I'm aware that you're tired, but we really need to finish this project tonight. Special notes about its usage are that being aware often implies a sense of responsibility or action. So it's not just about knowing something, but also what you do with that knowledge. For example, the company was aware of the safety issues and took steps to correct them. In a formal setting, such as a university lecture, you might say, the professor emphasized that students should be aware of the importance of citation and proper referencing in academic writing. This example demonstrates the word's usage to convey knowledge or understanding of something. In casual conversation with a friend, you might say, I'm trying to cut back on sugar, but I didn't realize how much I was consuming until I started reading labels. Now I'm more aware of my daily intake. Here, the word is used to express an increased awareness or knowledge about one's own habits. In a business context, such as a meeting with investors, you might say, we're aware that our market share has decreased slightly in the past quarter, but we believe this trend can be reversed through strategic marketing efforts. In this case, the word is used to convey a sense of acknowledgement or recognition of a specific situation or challenge. So you want to know about aware? Well, let me explain. When we say that someone is aware of something, we mean they have knowledge or understanding about it. It's like having information in your mind about a particular thing or situation. For example, if I ask you if you're hungry and you think for a second before responding, it means you were thinking about food and had an idea whether you needed to eat or not. That's being aware. The main characteristic of awareness is that it's like having your eyes open to something. You can see or know it exists. Some similar concepts are knowing or understanding, but they're a bit stronger. Like being sure about something. Being aware is more like being slightly informed or knowing something lightly. It's used in many situations, like when someone is aware of their surroundings, of their emotions, or even of the weather. Capacity. 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 So, let's talk about the word capacity. The part of speech for capacity is a noun, which means it refers to a person, place, thing, or idea. In common usage, capacity usually refers to the ability or potential to contain, hold, or produce something. For example, the swimming pool has a large capacity for water, or the factory has increased its production capacity. It can also refer to someone's mental or physical ability to do something. For instance, she has great capacity for learning new languages, or he has limited capacity to run long distances due to an injury. One special note about the usage of capacity is that it can be a bit tricky because it's often confused with another word, ability, which means a skill or talent. So, if someone asks you how many people your car can hold, and you say, "Oh, my car has great ability to carry 5 people," they might think you're talking about your driving skills rather than the number of passengers it can fit. Let's consider an event where a city is hosting a large music festival and they need to provide for the attendees' needs. In this context, we can see three different usage scenarios for the word capacity. The mayor mentions that the main stage has a capacity of 50,000 people, which means it can safely hold that many people without any safety concerns. Formal usage. Later on, while chatting with a friend who's helping with the logistics, you mention that the catering team can only provide food for a certain number of attendees based on their available kitchen capacity, meaning how much food they can cook and serve within a given time frame. Casual conversation usage. Meanwhile, the festival organizer's marketing team is trying to attract more sponsors by highlighting the event's huge audience capacity, which means the potential reach and exposure that comes with it, making it an attractive opportunity for businesses looking to advertise or sell their products. Business or academic usage. So, you want to know about this concept that helps us measure how much something can hold or process. Well, let me break it down for you. Essentially, it's a way to describe how much of something someone or something is able to take in, handle, or manage at one time. Imagine having a bucket. If it's small, it can only hold a little water. But if it's big, it can hold a lot more. This concept works in the same way, helping us understand how much information, people, tasks, or even emotions something, or someone, is able to deal with at any given time. It's like having a mental or physical container that has a specific size limit. Some similar ideas are called threshold or limit, and they all refer to the maximum amount of something that can be processed or handled before it gets too much. Challenge. 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 The word challenge is a great one to learn. As a verb, it means to issue an invitation or a test of skill, courage, or strength, often in a friendly or competitive way, such as in sports, games, or intellectual pursuits. For example, she challenged him to a tennis match this weekend. As a noun, challenge refers to something that presents a difficulty or a problem to be overcome, like an obstacle or a test of one's ability, often with the goal of improving or learning from it. For instance, the challenge of climbing Mount Everest is not for the faint-hearted. It's worth noting that in everyday conversation, challenge can also imply a sense of invitation or encouragement, especially when used in phrases like, take on a challenge, which means to accept and try to overcome something difficult or daunting. In a meeting with investors, John's CEO announced that they would be facing a challenge in maintaining their market share due to increased competition from a new startup, stating, "We recognize that this new entrant will be a challenge for us to adapt our marketing strategies and product offerings to stay ahead of the curve." In contrast, when discussing his upcoming marathon run with friends at the gym, Mark said, "I'm feeling pretty confident about my training, but I know there will be some challenges on the course, like navigating through those tough hills and finding a spot to refuel." Meanwhile, in an academic paper on educational psychology, Dr. Smith wrote that the challenge of improving literacy rates among disadvantaged students is a complex issue that requires a multifaceted approach, incorporating both individualized instruction and community-based support. So you're trying to learn a new word? Great! Let me help you with that. Imagine you're learning a new skill. Like riding a bike or playing a musical instrument, it takes time and practice to get good at it. Right? A certain situation or activity in language learning shares this idea. This concept is when something requires effort and determination to accomplish or overcome, but the outcome is worth it because you'll become better at it with each try. In language learning, it's like practicing a difficult grammar rule or vocabulary phrase. It might feel tough at first, but once you get the hang of it, you'll be able to do it easily. This idea is similar to concepts like obstacle, difficulty, or even learning curve. All these words describe situations where something requires extra work and patience to achieve.